Stay calm, everybody.
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, which is the South. North Florida is the South. North Florida is basically South Georgia. So my natural accent is more of a Southern accent, but I think just because I'm an actor and it's more helpful to have a neutral accent, I sort of got rid of that sounds so aggressive. I didn't like
You packed it away.
I just, it's when you're auditioning for things, unless it asks for an accent, you try not to have anything because it is just better for the character, because of the connotations that we associate with it with different accents. So I can definitely do a good old Southern accent. I mean, and it used to be, when I go home, I definitely have more of one. And it used to be that whenever I would get on the phone with my grandma, who is no longer with us, it was just immediately, I would start talking to her and be like, "Hey grandma, how are you? How are you doing?" And I still get that when I go back home. I love a Southern accent. And I love doing Tennessee Williams. You were asking about theater. I have done a number of shows at the Guthrie Theater up in Minneapolis, and I did Cat on a Hot Tin Roof there. Probably 10 years ago now. It's been a while. It was a while. And I also did it there. For those of you who don't know, this is a Tennessee Williams play set in the South, and it happens in like the thick of summertime. It's supposed to be so hot, but they did the show there like in the middle of winter, which was cruel. I mean, all of you who live here are braver than I, because I just could not deal with this weather year round. I mean, I grew up in Florida, and pretending that it was summertime in winter was just mean. And there was this one point in the show when I had to take a piece of ice out of the ice bucket, and I was supposed to like run it up my arm, and like it was supposed to melt from my body heat. And it was so cold even inside the theater that the ice would not melt. And so I just had this like piece of ice that I like carried around the stage for a while, and then eventually had to like get rid of. And that was not nice. What was the question about? Oh, accents. So yeah, Southern accents I can do. I have done a number of British dialects, which is what The Armorer is, and which is what Lisa Tepesh is. When I was in grad school, I played a character named Mrs. Warren, and Mrs. Warren's profession, and she was more Cockney. So I can do a good Cockney dialect. I've had to do some Irish. I could do that. Trying to think what else I've had to learn. I like learning dialects.
It's awesome. I like it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I got a little taste of that when you did our cosplay last night, hearing the different accent you did there for the Armorer. So that was great, by the way. So.
Well, and I also I love when the Armorer is such a good character for me, because as you may have seen already, I am not naturally a person who is very much at rest. I move around a lot, and I make a lot of gestures, and my voice goes all over the place. And sometimes people meet me, and they're like, "Are you really the Armorer?" So I like being in her vocal register, and I like when it's really great, especially like when we were shooting season 3, because I am in season 3 a lot more than I was in season 1 and season 2, because I wasn't in season 2 at all. And I got to spend time with her for like a number of days in a row, because it just puts me in a much more rested place. She's good for me, and I like being in her vocal register.
So maybe we could get